official. It's officially slow cooker season. So today I will be sharing 6 new slow cooker recipes with you. These recipes are perfect for this fall and winter. You're seriously going to be making them on repeat all season long. They're that good. Let's get to my kitchen and let's get to slow cooking. To kick us off today, we are making this apple cider pulled pork. And yes, I said apple cider pulled pork. It is amazingly delicious. So to your slow cooker, add in between 4 to 6 pounds of pork. You could use any type of pork like pork shoulder, pork tenderloin, or pork butt. Season it well with a teaspoon of salt, a teaspoon of pepper, then a tablespoon of paprika. Next, add in a tablespoon of onion powder and garlic powder. Then you're going to add in 1/3 cup of brown sugar, and then 1/2 teaspoon of cinnamon. That cinnamon really kicks it up a notch. Next, add in 1/2 cup of apple cider vinegar, or you could use normal vinegar. Then add in 1.5 cups of apple cider, or you could use apple juice if you would like. Let this cook on low for about 8 to 9 hours, or until that pork is just beautifully falling apart. Once it is falling apart tender, you could just shred it up, remove any of like the larger fatty pieces, and then we did serve this alongside of coleslaw. And for that coleslaw recipe, it is so easy to throw together. It's just a 16-ounce bag of shredded coleslaw mix. Then add in a tablespoon of lemon juice, a tablespoon of sugar, 1/2 cup of mayonnaise, then 1 tablespoon of apple cider vinegar, and then a teaspoon of salt and 1/2 teaspoon of pepper. Give this a really good stir until everything is well combined. This is our all-time favorite easy coleslaw recipe to make. It is not like a super heavy coleslaw. It's a lighter coleslaw and it is just so good. Also, grab your cookbook because it is on page 50 and this is where you will find this coleslaw recipe. It's in the sides and appetizers section, and you could serve this pulled pork up once you're through making the coleslaw, of course, if you want to make the coleslaw. My husband was amazed when he was eating this pulled pork. He was saying it is so perfect for this time of year, which it absolutely is. It's so good. We served ours in a hamburger bun, but you could serve yours in a baked potato or however you choose to do so. We also served it with a nectarine with milk and sugar. Now we are making this slow cooker Italian chicken noodle soup, and boy, oh boy, let me tell you. So get your slow cooker out, add in 2 medium-sized chicken breasts, then add in a tablespoon of minced garlic, then add in your 4 cups of chicken broth. Now for the seasonings, it's 2 teaspoons of dried basil and 2 teaspoons of dried oregano, and then a teaspoon of salt and pepper. Put the lid on top and let this cook on low for about 6 hours. Once the time is almost up, you're going to get started on your noodles. So to this pot of boiling water, I'm adding in 10 ounces of elbow noodles, or you could use any type of pasta that you like. Cook the pasta according to the package instructions, and while it's cooking away, I am going to get started on the cornstarch slurry to help thicken up the soup. It's 3 tablespoons of water mixed with 1 tablespoon of cornstarch. Now that my time is up on my slow cooker, I am just shredding up that chicken, and as you could see, it just shreds up so beautifully like butter. Add that cornstarch slurry in, followed by 1 cup of heavy cream, then 1/2 cup of grated Parmesan cheese, 2 cups of fresh chopped spinach. And while I was adding the seasonings in before, I forgot to add in 1/2 teaspoon of crushed red pepper flakes, so I'm adding that in now. Next, add in the cooked pasta that you drained. Give this a really good stir and let it cook together for about 5 minutes, and then you could serve this beautiful soup up. If you were looking for a soup that is not your average boring soup, you need to try this creamy Italian chicken noodle soup. It has such bold, immense flavor. You will absolutely love it. It really is so fantastic. We also had this soup alongside of some homemade apple cider. I made it on the side in a slow cooker, and it was so good. I really need to share this recipe with you. I wasn't going to, but I just have to. And if you think making apple cider is difficult, I promise it's really not. Quarter about 10 gala apples into smaller pieces, then slice 1 large orange into larger slices. Add it into your slow cooker just like this. Now, I don't know about where you live, but here in Utah, our brown sugar tends to be hard super often. So here's a trick. Put it in a bowl and microwave it for about a minute. This is really going to soften up your brown sugar, and it's going to make it a lot easier to measure out. So I definitely recommend doing that if you don't have something to, make make your brown sugar softer. But to add that brown sugar into your slow cooker, next you're going to add in between 4 to 5 cinnamon sticks. These cinnamon sticks add such bold flavor. Then add in 1 tablespoon of whole cloves. After you add those cloves in, add in a teaspoon of allspice, then 8 cups of water. Give this a really good stir. Cook this on high for about 2 to 3 hours. Once the cooking time is up, I can't even explain how magical your house is going to be smelling. It's going to be smelling like a fall wonderland. Mash those apples up with a potato masher. It doesn't need to be perfect. Now put the lid on top and let this cook for an additional hour. After the cooking time is up, you're going to want to remove any larger apple pieces, as well as the cloves and cinnamon sticks. You could also just strain it out, do it however works best for you, but you definitely want to make sure you get those cloves out and of course the cinnamon sticks, and just make sure it is smooth. Once everything is out of the apple cider, you can serve it up and it is absolutely phenomenal and so easy to throw together. Now we are making this creamy chicken and orzo, so to your slow cooker add in 2 medium-sized chicken breasts. Also, for all of these recipes today, you could easily double them or half them. Then I added in a diced yellow onion along with 1 tablespoon of minced garlic. Next, add in 1 cup of sun-dried tomatoes. I'm using this brand of sun-dried tomatoes. I do find it to be really flavorful, but you could use any brand that you could find at the store or that you enjoy. Next, I added in 1 cup of chicken broth, then a teaspoon of salt, half a teaspoon of pepper, and then 2 teaspoons of Italian seasoning. Let this cook on low for about 5 to 6 hours. I didn't even stir it. And then once it is through cooking, just shred up your chicken. I'm using my potato masher to shred it up because one of my little ones hid my meat masher in their playroom. But once my chicken was shredded, I added in 1 cup of uncooked orzo, followed by 1 cup of heavy cream. Then add in 1/3 cup of grated Parmesan cheese, then 1.5 cups of fresh chopped spinach. The spinach really does wilt down nicely. Give this a stir and let this cook on low for about 20 to 30 more minutes, or until that orzo is nice and tender. Then you could stir it up. I know it might not look like much, but holy moly, this is absolutely so good. It easily has to be one of my new favorite slow cooker meals. I served it alongside of some Italian garlic toast. I could share this recipe with you if you'd like. It was super good. I kind of made it up on the spot and it was so delicious. Now we are making this chicken tortilla soup, so to your slow cooker add in 2 medium-sized chicken breasts. Next add in a 10-ounce can of enchilada sauce. I'm using red enchilada sauce. After that add in a 15-ounce can of undrained corn. Then add in 1 can of rotel. After you add the rotel in, add in a tablespoon of minced garlic, then 1 diced yellow onion. For all of these recipes today, you could always add ingredients or subtract ingredients to them to really make them to your liking. Then add in 15 ounces of chicken broth, 1 cup of water, then add in 2 tablespoons of taco seasoning. After that, add in a teaspoon of chili powder, a teaspoon of salt, and a half a teaspoon of pepper. Give this a good stir and let it cook all day on low for about 7 to 8 hours. After the cooking time is up, just shred your chicken up with 2 forks or a meat masher, or however you choose to do so. After your chicken is shredded, add it back into your slow cooker, give it a stir, and then you could serve this easy dinner up. If this soup doesn't scream fall and winter months, I don't know what does. We topped it with tortilla strips, a little bit of cheese, sour cream, and lime, but top yours with anything that you have on hand, or feel free to not top it with anything. It really is so good and flavorsome. Now we are making this slow cooker baked ziti, and holy smokes, to a pan on the stove, add in a pound of Italian sausage, break that sausage up and cook it through. Once you have your sausage completely cooked through, just remove any excess grease from that pan. I'm just wiggling a paper towel in the pan to remove the grease. My mom taught me this trick years ago. Now bring your sausage over to a slow cooker and add it right in there. Next add in 1 diced yellow onion, followed by 1 tablespoon of minced garlic, then 2.5 cups of water. Now add in two 14-ounce cans of petite diced tomatoes. We prefer the petite diced tomatoes over the normal diced tomatoes just because the petite ones are a little bit smaller and easier to eat. Then add in 24 ounces of marinara sauce, and then for the seasonings, a teaspoon of salt, a half a teaspoon of pepper, then 1 teaspoon of dried basil. I have been making this slow cooker ziti for years and years. My little ladies just love it so much, and you will find the recipe on page 149 in my cookbook. It's in the slow cooker section. Now give this a really good stir, put the lid on top, and cook it on low for about 7 hours. Once the cooking time is up, stir in your 13 ounces of ziti pasta. Cook it for an additional 16 to 35 minutes or until the pasta is cooked. I know for some recipes, cooking pasta in the slow cooker just doesn't work out at all. The pasta gets gummy or it gets like crumbly, but for this recipe, the pasta does work out so well in this baked ziti. And then add in your cheese once you have your pasta tender. Once the cheese is melty, you could serve this dinner up. We topped our plate with a little bit more cheese, and then I did serve this with some more homemade garlic bread on the side. I have just been loving like making some homemade garlic bread. It's so good. I also served this with a simple side salad. This dinner is always a hit whenever I make it. You guys, I can't believe it. I'm almost to 1 million subscribers, so I would love it if you subscribe down below the video so we could get there. Thanks for being here today. Bye for now.